All right, we'll continue to monitor the situation in Usofia and other parts of the local government. We understand, Solomon, we can reconnect with Solomon now. I was asking if it's confirmed then that Governor Soludo is here to vote. All right, we will reconnect with Solomon to get more updates from Usofia and indeed other parts of Anambra State where the governorship election is underway. Right, another governorship candidate, George Moghalu, has cast his ballot at polling unit 17, Ward 1, Omago community in Nnewi North local government area. Mr. Moghalu arrived at the polling unit shortly after accreditation began, exchanging pleasantries with voters before proceeding to vote. And he commended the smooth operation of the bimodal voter accreditation system and asked residents to remain peaceful and patient as the process continues across Anambra State. So far, voting in Nnewi North has been peaceful with strong turnout recorded in several polling centers. And at Udiozo Primary School 2, polling unit 117, voting is proceeding smoothly. Security personnel are also on ground maintaining order. A similar situation is observed at Unit 018, where 30 out of the 98 voters registered to vote have turned up so far. The atmosphere across both polling units remains calm, peaceful, and orderly, with security agents keeping close watch. And at various polling units in other parts of Anambra State, elderly men and women, some into their 70s, turned out to cast their ballots. The observers say the older women in particular were visibly engaged alongside younger voters, underscoring their continued commitments to shaping the state's political future. The electoral officials emphasized the need to accommodate all voters, especially the elderly, to ensure a free, fair, and inclusive exercise. So far, voting has remained peaceful with no reports of failure of the BVAS machines or security incidents, especially in areas such as Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Agwata local government areas. Still on the governorship election in Anambra State, the Nigeria Police Force has These are live feeds now. We can now confirm, and we are seeing Governor Chukwuma Soludo walking into his polling unit in Usofia. His particular ward is Usofia in Agwata local government area. He is now coming to vote. Of course, as our correspondent, senior reporter Solomon Ajiziogo has been feeding us with for the most part of the day, turnout at this particular unit has been pretty impressive. It's been a high turnout even before the voting process actually began. We understand that voters have been trooping into this particular polling unit 002 in Usofia, especially where Governor Soludo is now coming in to cast his ballot. We're seeing him chairing residents, as he's walking in to be attended to by election officials. All right. Of course, we know that the governor is also a governorship candidate. He's contesting along with 15 others. There's been a mixed grill now. 2 female candidates are also contesting for the key seat in Anambra State. Right. A few seconds ago, Governor Chukwuma Soludo is now in his polling unit 002 in Usofia as he comes in now to cast his ballot.
And trying to make sure that they do their job to keep people away from the governor. But then it's the civic work that he's got to do, and he's among his own people. I guess they will let for one of these days the governor has got the to cast his vote without he that or less, and his people have direct access. The media has also direct access to him here. He has gone through the process. The Viva has not given him any problem there. He walks up to the officer who will then give him the ballot papers, the signed ballot papers endorsed by INEC, where he will then proceed to the booth privately thumbprint where he wants to cast his vote. Of course, you probably know where he would cast his vote. It will not happen. Well, it might happen that a candidate fails to cast a ballot for himself. But of course, the governor is now walking up there to including me. I've been waiting to capture him do this, and I wonder why it took him so much time to come to the polling unit when you ordinarily would expect that at 10 a.m. in the morning when the day is young, the governor will walk up to the polling unit and just do this and everybody goes up. But one argument has been that the traction coming from the polling unit here has been wonderful for Anambra election, and he probably
I want to talk to you. Right, in the past few minutes, we have been watching feeds now from Usofia in Agwata local government area. Governor Chukwuma Soludo and his wife arrived a few minutes ago and are now casting the ballot. Of course, we saw him attending, or we saw the INEC officials on ground attending to him, getting the necessary preliminaries before he has now been ushered in to the ballot arena to cast his ballot. Of course, Governor Soludo is one of the 16 governorship candidates who are contesting this Saturday, November the 8th. There are 16 candidates in all, 14 male, 2 women who are spread across, all the local government areas, 21 local government areas where we understand that 24,000 ad hoc staff are on ground to attend to the hundreds of thousands of voters who will be trooping into each polling unit to do the needful, talking about voting in this crucial exercise. And from the reports we have been getting all day, though there have been the touted voter apathy, But in this particular voting area, in this particular local government, in this particular polling unit, the turnout has been impressive, with reports coming in to say that though many have voted, they are still staying on to monitor the process. And as we are seeing now, they are staying on, or they stayed on, to receive the governor as he comes to vote. Shortly after that, many are expecting the governor to walk in towards the area where journalists are so he can give his assessment of the process so far. Other governorship candidates have, done this ritual, you may call it, casting their ballots and coming to give their own individual appraisals of INEC, as well as security agencies, and indeed the general outlook of the election from their lens. And it will be rather newsworthy to also hear what the governor has to say about the election, especially one wherein he's also participating. Governors are on ground, journalists are also on ground, as well as election observers and other crucial personnel at this particular polling unit. They're trying to maintain some form of order to enable the governor, Chukwuma Soludo, come and make some comments before he goes on. If all goes according to plan, the voting will end in about 30 minutes from now. We understand, of course, as we have been following from the break of the day, election or the voting itself started at about 8:30 a.m. Of course, there have been preparations way before now, transporting the essential and non-essential voting materials across the polling units.
I won't be able to stretch my mind. I won't be able to stretch my mind. I can't move.
Across Anambra State, 2,800,000+ registered voters are on record to participate in this exercise. Of course, any moment from now, Governor Soludo will be addressing journalists and indeed addressing the electorate and beyond for the election so far.
I think you all witnessed the voting here. Before I came, because as you know, today is the election day. And as always, you'll be getting calls from all across the state. And we're doing so, receiving numerous calls across the state. I think one way to say it is that it's been relatively very peaceful. And going on in some places.
Okay, so turn it this way.
Right. We're still monitoring the governorship election in Anambra State. In the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force has intensified aerial surveillance operations. The police says the measure is part of a wider security strategy to ensure a peaceful, safe, and transparent electoral process. Still on the police statement, it says that air patrols are working in synergy with ground troops, marine operatives, and tactical units already stationed in strategic locations. The aerial teams are monitoring movement patterns as well, detecting suspicious gatherings and providing real-time intelligence to support quick response by ground commanders. The force says it remains neutral and professional, pledging to protect voters, electoral officials, and materials throughout the polls.
One hour, voting is supposed to close officially. But again, once you are in the polling unit before 2:30, you must vote. So I expect that all these people, you can still see a few, I'm sure there's still more than 100 persons yet to vote here. So they will all vote.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Are you happy with the number of turnout? Considering the last election, we have less than 10% participation. Are you happy with the number of turnouts in this election?
I cannot know the number of turnout. How can I? When voting is still ongoing. I mean, there's no way you know until voting closes and votes are counted. When you see the number of voters that are credited and then those who voted. So before you can comment on turnout, for now we don't know. All you hear is that I tell you it's going on well.
All right, Your Excellency, sir. You've made some very remarkable commentation about the election process. My question is, you in terms of victory, and are you sure the party will sweep across the 21 local governments?
Let me tell you. Let me be clear. We said this all through the campaign. We have opponents, but we have not seen the opposition. And but even then, we have not taken the votes of the people for granted. And that's why we're literally the only party, the only candidate that cries across the entire 21 local governments, the entire 326 wards, the markets, everywhere. Even though everybody says nobody is competing against, but we don't take any vote for granted. And yes, we are. The only thing we hear that is actually their only strategy is that they have written results which they want to swap during the collation process. That they will want to swap them. They were even trying to tell, they had meetings with polling agents telling them not to write the results properly, not to upload the results on IREV, and so on. and so they can have room to be able to manipulate. But we have confidence in the system, that the system eventually will sort it all out. It's vigilance. People are vigilant. We're organized. We're united, and we'll follow the process. From the polling unit, we'll follow it to the collation at the ward, and from the ward, we'll follow through to the local government and to the state. And if once the system works, we have absolutely no doubt we're going to win the 21 local governments. I mean, that's no one. I am. Thank you very much. Yeah.